Ladies and gents, welcome to Spitfire episode number 59. My name is Tunn. I am here with Trey, of course, from Subliners. We'll be talking about his recent move to the substitutions bench, of course, during the episode. But of course, we're joined here by Rab as well, who is always here every single week by the looks of things. But
whenever you don't have a better people to get on, whenever you can't get Hastra and Clay.
This Rab. Is when we can't get Hastra, Clay. When
that just happens. As long as you're
when my co-host,
that's tough, man.
When my co-host leaves me in the lurch, we've got to get Rab.
Wait here and you do the intros, Ton. Huh?
I know, weird, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to imitate his. And we'll see you next time. Like every single week now, aren't I? Right. Okay. Firstly, I'll address it. It's difficult to talk about in depth without, saying things that are being said in private and whatnot. Unfortunately, we had a potential opportunity to make some money via Spitfire, and we tried to come to a deal with Bryce. Of course, we appreciate the fact, and I appreciate especially the fact that he did every single episode for free. I mean, he did a favor to myself, but I think he did it because he enjoyed it as well. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like he got nothing from it. At the same time, I feel as if he enjoyed doing the show. He's a good friend of mine. I hope we can remain friends after all is said and done. I know tempers are high across the board at the moment. But ultimately, a proposition was put towards Bryce in terms of the sponsorship, which is now being pulled because of this whole scenario. And he didn't agree to that through whatever which way that he has said in his tweet longer, of course. I'm not going to go into further detail. I'm sure he may say something. We may say something down the line. I'm hoping we can potentially figure it out. I don't think we will, in all honesty. I think his tweet longer says that, to be fair. But that's all I'm going to say on it for now. We're going to get on with the show. We're going to go along as normal, except this time around it's going to be me hosting it, this and not Bryce. So it's going to be weird, but we will get sorted. I'm sure all you guys in the chat are here for Trey and Rab and not for me and Bryce, hopefully. Or we're going to figure that out pretty soon. But let's get into it. First topic of the day is, of course, going to be circled around you, Trey. How's things, mate? Of course, we've seen this week, or last week I should say, that you were moved to the sub bench in replacement of yourself as one of the subs potentially on New York Subliners. I mean, first and foremost, how does that sort of thing come around? Was it a team discussion as far as you're aware, or were you just said, right, that's it, you have of course been dropped, unfortunately?
I didn't even know. I was getting ready for a set of 10s, I get a call, they're like, we want to drop to a sub bench. I knew it was coming, to be honest with you. We didn't have the best events like London and stuff like that, so
yeah.
We only went to one event, so I can't really say anything like that. We only went to one event, but we didn't do too great. Scrims weren't going too great, and yeah, I said to my girlfriend the day I did get benched, I said to her yo, if we have a bad LA, I'm probably gonna get benched, or dropped, whatever you want to call it. Same thing to me. She was like, well, we just gotta keep doing you, and we'll try it, just try and play well and try and win and whatnot, so we don't actually come to this situation. I was like, yeah. So I started grinding 10s. I've always been grinding 10s, but I started got myself in the lobby trying to better myself, and then I got a phone call we're not happy with where we're at right now, and we're gonna bench you. So.
And Rab, I think I'll not be the only one to say it, but a lot of people would probably were questioning it, specifically on Reddit, where there had been some potentially poor performances. I mean, I think across the board, I think a lot of people would agree that the team had underperformed from expectations. But Rab, I don't know what your take is on it, because I mean, for me, from the outset, it was a team issue. It doesn't seem to just be down to Trey.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm intrigued to hear your perspective, Trey, on why you thought it was going to be you as the person to be benched from the team, because I'm intrigued to hear your thought process there, because of course the change, yes, okay, fine, the team needed a change. The actual change they have made, to me, is pretty mind-blowing. To me, it seems to be clearly not a long-term solution. So I'm just intrigued why you thought, Trey, that you thought you were on the chopping block out of anyone.
I said it in my stream, when I actually did get benched, I streamed the following day, and I just said, coming into that team, you're always I was always going to be the odd one out, just for being one European and two just not in that circle of people. And it sounds stupid to say like, oh yeah, like because you're European, you got dropped, but that is actually a thing. Like it does happen
100%.
because you are the odd one out, and yeah, like I said in the thing, like everyone, like we weren't all playing amazing. It's not like I was in a slump or I was the worst player on the team or not. It was just they wanted a change, and that change was obviously going to be me. Like I could see it coming from a mile away. So,
I mean,
like I said, I'm not even like I'm more salty the fact I don't get to go to LA to try and like do anything for myself. It's just I got to sit here watch and like practically I can't do anything right now.
Yeah, I think that's been a lot of the talk from people who have been subbed is it's just you can't really do anything to help the team. I think it's hard though because I'm sure you would love the team to do well, but at the same time it's like, well, you don't want them to do better without you as well, of course.
It's like it's very like half and half, like I don't like I would love them to do bad just because they dropped me, but then at the end of the day, like I want New York to do well because I like the organization and people in New York. Like they're fantastic, like people to work with. Like I say, I'm not like salty I got dropped. I just knew it was going to happen to me,
Yeah, and a lot of people have been calling it the Friendship World League, haven't they? I mean, I don't want to say that that's necessarily the issue, but you are the odd one out in terms of being European.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people pointing towards a substitution coming through.
We all knew that, like, even my friends and that, when I told them I was joining New York, like, we all knew that was going to be the case. Like, I did take a risk, Like, joining this team, it was a risk. Like, the odd one out always joining the team of 4 people, like, that is a risk. And I took it hoping it pay off, and obviously it didn't, and now I'm in this situation.
Yeah, we were talking about your replacement. I know they have been playing with Happy, etc. How do you see the team going with them? I mean, a different player to a point doesn't really have the experience. I think it'll be hard for you to touch on. I know that probably don't want to slag off your teammates or anything, but at the same time,
the best way I can put it is like, I don't think Happy's a dreadful player.
Yeah,
like he's been a pro in the past, and he can like I've played with him before. Like just in general, he is like he's a fun person to play with. They're probably playing better with them than they are with him than they are me because I'm enjoying it more probably. But like I said, I don't feel like I should have been on the chopping block before LA. I at least should have got to go to the event. Like even if it was to just boost my stock as a sense, like to get on another franchise or something like that. Like I don't think them taking Happy to the event was like the best thing possible. Like I've been grinding for 3 months. I know the game like the back of my hand, like it is what it is. And like, I'm not going to LA. I'm just going to sit here and watch it from home.
And I think, and Rab, you could probably testify to this as well. There has been a couple of sub changes coming through, and there hasn't been much time for teams to really adapt to the changes as well. Do you think that's going to be an issue for them? Because I think, this quick, there's not as much time.
This one is really close to the event, to be honest. Like we saw the Enable Panda one came in a good couple of weeks ago now, which effectively gave that team like a month to kind of get things figured out. It's just an interesting change to me because, as Trey says, like if you want to do the best for your teammate and you kind of feel like maybe maybe that's the change you want to make. But at the same time, you're thinking, well, if things do work out, like Trey's obviously got the talent. He's a proven champion winner over the last few years, been one of the best players in the game, at least on and off for probably the last 3-4 years of the game. So at least if you want to, I guess it's maybe not a thought process, but give him that chance to make a name for himself at LA before he goes elsewhere. In this position, it's a really tough situation for everyone involved because Happy's going in with very little practice. I still don't feel like that can ever be a long-term solution, which is why when we talked about these sub changes early on, or at least the decisions to bring these substitutes in as your
how many times have we talked about it?
Yeah, I mean, I said last time I was on Spitfire, when New York have issues with their team, which kind of we thought we'd already have him, but I thought they'd stick it out another event. Like, what are they going to do as their sub changes, right? Because, okay, we could talk about the census stuff, but it just Happy's no way that's a long-term solution. We've seen that Los Angeles Guerrillas are going out, they're picking up Spark, they're picking up Vivid, they're picking up these young guys, kind of things that you would have expected teams to do at the start of the season. It's just a really tough situation because as Enable said actually on the podcast the other day, he was like, well, of this whole like Octane potentially saying he'd bench himself if Enable wasn't benched and all of this like drama that's happened to, what Enable said in that podcast, whatever. But he was like, well, if that is true, his perspective was that looking at the way the team had been organized, he didn't think that he was in the position to be offered a spot back on the team. He felt like the way it was going is that they've made this change. He doesn't feel like it's very likely they bring him back. I wonder if, you feel in a similar position, Trey. But if that is the case, Enable then said, well, look, I've got to try and find somewhere else to go. Thankfully for Enable, he had a couple of options on the table, it seemed like, but it's not. And not everyone has that privilege.
I mean, like the way I see it was like, I won't be playing on New York again, probably. In terms of with those players, I don't think we mesh well. I probably don't think we'll play together again. I don't know. Like that's the way that I see it, like that's the kind of vibe that I got given. So that's the one I'm going with. And like I said, I'm not like salty at them for getting like benching me. It's business at the end of the day. I deal with it the same way anyone does. Like you just take it on the fucking chin and you.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things as well with how intense the schedule is this year that it's hard to sort of turn around and sort of like give time. Even though I would have loved to see you guys. I mean, look, everyone looked at this roster at the beginning of the year and sort of said, okay, that's a nice looking roster on paper. These guys should be really good at this game. Obviously, things didn't work out for whatever reason, but it's a very, very, very aggressive schedule to the point of where if changes are going to be made, it's always going to hurt the team initially, isn't it? So it's one of those things where if they do make the change like they have done, then that's the risk you have to take. Of course, as Rab said, I don't think Happy is a permanent thing in there. I don't think for a second that he will be the one that continuously stays in that. But then that ultimately goes back to if you had a strong substitute, then everybody wouldn't be asking that question. But no, it is disappointing, especially for me, especially to see another British lad. I mean, how many times of EU? How many times? Yeah, how many times have EU gamers being let down?
Like I said, I personally think I'll be fine because, like I said, I'm not bad. No one thinks I'm bad. No. Like I didn't get absolutely world starred. We all played bad, and like I've sent messages out to players, teams, and whatnot, saying like, I'll make you better, like my team just wasn't a good fit for me and I wasn't a good fit for them. So like, I'll go to another team and provide something what I couldn't provide for this team, I feel like I can make most teams that are playing poorly better. And yeah, like I said, I'm not in a bad situation. I'm just in a situation where I did get fucked over in terms of who I was playing with. And yeah, like that's the way it is. And I'm going to have to deal with that after LA and try and find a spot where I can be more comfortable.
So in terms of the team that was set up in New York, because we haven't really spoke to many of you since the league started, was this a player decision, this team? Did somebody specifically get brought in and then say, right, okay, this is the team you're going to make? Or was this due to the coach and staff, the team that was put together?
This team was like formed for a while, I was going through a situation where I had like a few team offers and I did want to go to New York. Like it's New York, the city's dope, the organization's dope, and I thought the team would be pretty good. It's 5 really talented players on one team, and I think like the one thing that did mess us over was having 5 of unreal talented players. Like not one of us has been like they said like OBJ or like willing to give up their life for someone else. Like that's probably what hurt us the most. It was the best way to put it was like there was not enough like selflessness in the team to the point where it was like good teamwork. So like I said, like I understand the benching or dropping, whatever you want to call it. I understand that. It's just a bad time to do it for me.
Yeah. As you said, there hasn't there hasn't been much evidence of the team. I mean, look, how many series have you played? 4 or 5 on LAN?
2 Minnesota, 2 at Paris. No, 3 at Paris.
London.
Yeah, 3 at Paris, and I played 5.
5. Yeah, in London, obviously as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. 2 in Minnesota, and then Paris, London, Paris.
Yeah, I think that's the tough bit for me, and I think that obviously you've said that as well as there hasn't been much time for this team to flourish. I mean, last year, these things were happening. obviously there was restrictions with how much you could change, but we'll be seeing teams who were working things out and getting better. I'm sure you would have liked that chance to do that with the squad as well. So I hope things get sorted out for you, in fairness, and I hope you get yourself sorted on a new team. But let's just touch on at least the funny side of this whole story, where Zenser's dad, the Instagram post. Unfortunately, he's deleted it. I'm sure somebody like Rab will have this screenshotted somewhere, to be fair.
Oh, mate, do not worry.
I still have it. Yeah, I still got it.
What a fucking ruckus that was, by the way. Holy shit. Wake up on
The only
the
thing I found out from that was that I'm a terrible decision maker, but I'm still a champion. So that's what I got.
Yeah, you're still a champ, like, you can't mess around.
I'm a terrible decision maker. I make poor decisions, but I'm still a champ. So whatever I've done is...
could be worse. Like
you've been doing all right on that front, but if anybody did miss it, of course, Zenser's dad put out an Instagram post basically slating every single member of the New York Subliners. And I mean, in fairness to Zer0, he came out and said was the complete wrong thing to do. He shouldn't have done that. Still, absolutely hilarious. And I think this just points back to the point of, I mean, for me, when I look at that team, I look how much Zenser's been grinding. Again, I don't see how much Happy's been playing. Was there ever a chance of Zer0 actually being given a shot on this team?
Actually, I can't touch too much on it because I don't really know much about it. You know, like I ever since I got benched, it was like I haven't talked to a player. The only time I spoke to him was in like tens where like you're on the same team. So I haven't really like gone out my way to like speak to any of them, and that's that. Like I think Zer0 Doug should have probably got a shot though, because like you said, he's
got the experience.
He's grinding every day. You wait 6 hours to play a 10 series.
He wants
it. You've got to respect it. Like,
he knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? He's not a bad player, but like end of the day, like it's whatever.
That's what you're talking about, like selflessness, right? Like I don't know, maybe they see that in Happy as well, but that's what I feel like. Zer0, obviously, he's a bit of a meme within the community, but Happy, it's not like he's played professional in the last 3 years anyway. And
it's just a weird thing, like a weird subject, just because Doug didn't play for a while and he came back, and then when he did play, like it was World War II, I think, so he took a year off in Black Ops 4, and Happy just didn't play much. So like picking between them two, like they both know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's just who do you pick at that point? It's like what you were saying with the subs. Like you don't have like the best option as a sub player there, so you pick who you want to pick with, you know. And it's none of them are bad. It's just like they didn't play, so
yeah.
Like who do you pick in that situation? Like you bench me. Been playing 5 years every single day of my life, but you bench me and then you go after. Then you got Doug or Happy, and then that's just up to them who they want to pick. You know, it's not like a clear cut decision at the end of the day.
Yeah, I get it. It's just, again, it hops back to this whole, why are people just picking up substitutes that are just friends, etc., etc. There's that issue, but then, of course, I would have liked to see them give Doug a chance. Just as you said, like Rab said, there, selflessness, isn't it? He wants to play. He wants to be there, and really, I'm sure you know Trey. He's a very smart man.
There's no denying that Doug is one of the smartest brains in the community. He is. Listen, I love Doug. Like, he's a great guy. You know, he'll always like poke me on TeamSpeak and like just talk to me for a bit. Even when I got dropped, he was like this is just not good. This is undeserved. Like, I don't feel like you should have been dropped. But he's just a nice guy like that, you know. And like you said, he's a very smart man. You know, he became one of the biggest people in the scene because he didn't eat a cheeseburger. Like, he's literally a mastermind. He's a mastermind.
There's no way he's never eaten a cheeseburger before that point, by the way. I'll further cement my opinion on that one. But
like, I see you reading the chat, like I'm not here to roast anyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got benched for a reason. Like, we were doing bad. But like I said, the only reason I'm angry is, one, because of the situation the CDL puts you in when you do get benched. It's quite hard to get out. And
yeah,
if I don't get out, then I'm probably just stuck on the bench for the rest of the year. You know, like, I'm not doing anything, just sitting there playing tens. That's like worst case scenario. That's probably not going to happen because I feel like I can make any team that's doing bad better. And then, second of all, it was just like, like they drop me over a phone call when I live 10 minutes away from them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Ooh, that's rough.
I'm 22 years old. I can take it. Like, I can take a face-to-face conversation. You know, you don't have to drop me over the phone. Like, I can talk to you as a person. I would have respected that a lot more. You know, if I got dropped face-to-face, it would have been like more of a manly thing to do than drop me over the phone. Like, I haven't spoke to him since.
Yeah,
you know?
that seems pretty. Like, with how much is on the line, like, this is your life at the end of the day. Like, you know, the team should be respecting that with the sense of doing this at a face-to-face level. But we'll move on from it, Trey, because I don't want to.
No, you're good. You're good.
I don't want to press you too hard on the whole issue. But of course, it is disappointing for yourself and hopefully.
Like I said, I'm not here to roast anyone at all.
That's a shame. That's a shame. No
I mean, I could, but like, I ain't gonna get anything out of it. You know, I'll get a few laughs out of the chat and probably put on Reddit, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to just state my side of the story. Here to state my side of the story. Like, short story short, like, long story short, I got fucked over on my team personally, and that's it. Like, I got fucked over, and I'm trying to get out of my situation. So,
well, hopefully things do get figured out.
It sucks being a competitor as well. Like, that's the thing. Like, at least now, as Abe was saying, you get money on the bench, but it's not about that, right? Like, it's about proving you're the best in the world, which is just difficult the way all the contracts work in this. Like, it's trickier to change teams than it used to be in the past, where you can't just hop here left, right, and center. So
yeah, in the past you could just, like, if you got dropped in the past, it was just a matter of fact of getting bought out and getting a new contract. Here it's not that easy, you know. See, like, it is very it helps you out being in the franchise league, because like you said, you still get the same salary. Like, I get the same salary on the bench. But I'm not here to play on the bench, you know. I'm not here to wake up at 10 a.m. and wait till 9 p.m. to pick teams for 10s. Like, what am I going to do? Sit here, play CDL, play this for 10 hours straight? No, I'm not doing that. I literally sit here and watch YouTube videos for 10 hours straight.
I bet you wish the yard come out this week. Fuck's sake.
I would have had something to do, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, the CDL puts you in like a position where it's like, it's really good if you do get benched because of the stability is there, but I can't play COD at the best level because I'm not on the fucking starting roster, you know. It's just it's a really shitty situation.
Well, I mean, I hope it gets figured out, and hopefully you do find your way into a team that appreciates you, Trey. I
would like to be appreciated.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm pretty good.
well, hopefully things do get figured out. Let's talk about LA though. Let's delve into it, because that's why we are here for this episode. We are here to preview the event. I know yourself isn't going to be playing, but I feel as if you'll have a good opinion on the teams and a good knowledge of who we think is going to come out on top. We'll do the normal. We'll do the normal format though. We'll go through predictions. And we'll go through the groups, of course. Now, let's talk about group number 8 first. That is Minnesota, Seattle, LA Guerrillas, and OGLA, of course, in the same group, which I love to see.
What an interesting group
that is. The dodgiest group ever.
What is that?
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because you look at that and you think,
what is happening there?
Any of these could maybe come out on top here.
It's such a dodgy group.
It is.
Like, there's not. The only team that's done well in there is like Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's like I know just from speaking to players that OGLA are doing well in scrims. Now they're doing a bit better.
Yeah.
Haven't seen LAG. Like I said, they just had a massive like roster overturn with the 2 hands coming in.
Yep. Yeah, that's a big factor. But like, I mean, I just want to tap into it once again, is that because we're not seeing every single team at each event, this is still to the point of where it's unpredictable. Rab, we've talked about a week in, week out, where we still haven't seen everybody play each other, etc., etc. And
I know this is.
So with roster changes as well.
We don't know where everyone's at. We don't know where everyone's at. So let's talk about Minnesota and Seattle. For me, Minnesota have looked sort of I don't want to say the best of the rest, but potentially. Like, you've got those top 2 teams definitively, I would say, in Chicago, Atlanta. You've got Dallas there as well, but Minnesota, I don't want to say.
I think Minnesota are a top 3 team.
You think they're top 3? You think they're just below?
I think they are.
Chicago?
I had a conversation with Austin yesterday, Slasher, and we were just talking about, like, they just work well together. You know, they're just a well-worked team. I do think they are like a top 3 team right now.
You put them above Dallas, I presume, then?
I just haven't seen anything from Dallas like crazy, you know? Like, be it they have played Chicago so many so many times online, and they're a good team. But I know, I just feel like you said, the way the CDO is run this year, it's like you're not seeing every team play each other like you did before. You're kind of seeing the same teams come up against each other because they lose the second match and they play someone. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
the point.
in London, we played Paris, London, then Paris. We've only
Yeah.
played 2 teams there.
That's the thing with the GSL format, like it's really common that you'll win the first round, lose second round, and then just play the team you just played. Because like if it's a close matchup, which like I don't know if I enjoy that. It's kind of nice when you see the team that lost the first time win the second time, make it more competitive. But I would like to see it a bit more varied. And then when you go on, Trey.
Don't get it twisted. I just seen the chat. Don't get it twisted. I'm not calling Dallas bad. I think Dallas are disgusting. I think their players are disgusting. I just think Minnesota are just top 3 team right now, and I don't feel like you can kind of argue that. To be honest with you,
yeah,
the top 3 for me would be FaZe, Chicago, and Minnesota. It sounds crazy to say that, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that order. That's FaZe are unreal. Like you can't really say anything about it.
Yeah.
Chicago, they had a dodgy Atlanta event. I don't see them falling off anytime soon. And Minnesota are just playing well together. And I haven't scrimmed Dallas in a while. But yeah, I'm just excited to see. Everyone play at LA because the groups are actually pretty good. To be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. Like it's going to be a big test for Seattle. Like first game because as we've been saying, like Minnesota just plays so well as a team, and they've got players who can just go off as well. Like even Asim, who had stats wise didn't do great. Whenever I watch him, he's honestly he's frying. Like you played with him last year, of course, Trey on the FaZe team, right?
Yeah, so, I said this to him, and I was just like, took Asim for granted. Love that kid. Took my whole FaZe team for granted, to be honest with you.
I mean, at the same time, I think in terms of another British kid that's sat on a roster full of Americans is Alex. He's been playing really well. I mean, I'll say some bias on that. Of course,
I said, that Minnesota team just works well together, and that's why I think they are 3rd/4th. Like they are pretty good, and one of the reasons for that is just they just mesh well together. Like their chemistry is really good. They don't argue with each other. It's just a straight up they have fun. I know Asim is a player. He just likes to have fun, and that's probably why they do so well because you got him and Alex just running about, and Assault's always watching over him. Very slow player, but I love Adam, so I won't.
Things are looking better for him this year as well. He had a slow last year, Assault, and things are looking good. But now, of course, they will be going up against Seattle first time round in their first game. What Trey? What's wrong with Seattle? Because I look at that team. Do you think it's just too slow? There seems to be a lot of people's comments.
I don't know.
Octane's great. Octane's good. Everyone knew he was going to be good. As I said when we did our
Octane's
draft
the best they
show,
are in the game. It's not even close.
When we had our draft show, everyone picked him first if they
close,
could.
But
I mean, he's insane. So what is wrong with that team? Do you think it's just the SMGs not pulling their weight? I don't know. I mean, of course they have made a change.
I'm not too sure what's wrong in a sense. Like you could say there's a lot of teams that have got things wrong with them, but I don't know if it's just a pinpointed that's the issue. He's the issue, Like I said, Enable got dropped, and they probably are playing. I think they are playing better with Panda, but that's not because Ian's bad. It's just probably because it works out better for him because they prefer the vibes or something. I'm saying something like that.
The roles on that team were weird. That's what I thought.
Something like that could be such a game change. You know what I'm saying? I think New York are probably playing better with Happy because their vibes are better with Happy. You know what I'm saying? Something like that can just change, but. With the Seattle thing, it's just I don't know. I feel like they do need. I don't know if it's pacing issue, but I feel like I don't know if they took it as seriously at the start as they did as everyone else, And then when everyone got world starred at Minnesota, everyone started taking it serious, and then you're always behind at that point. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I've reached out to many of the teams, and I'm trying to help any bad team that, be it Seattle, be it anyone. I feel like I could play really well in Seattle and help them become a good team. But I don't feel like I don't feel like they're a bad team. I just feel like they're in a situation where it's just they just need something or someone to just help them out, you know?
Just change something. Because
Yeah.
obviously things aren't working for them. Minnesota, Seattle then. I mean, it seems pretty unanimous of which way we're going to go with this one, but I'm going to go a conservative 3-1 Minnesota. I think, Seattle are a team that surely at some point they are going to get better. They have too much talent on that roster, I think. I think it's a somewhat similar situation to OGLA. I know that pacing issues obviously can be there, but when you look at the talent, there is bundles of it. Hopefully they can start to make something work. But I just still think, I think you're very right, Trey, that Minnesota are a top team. I think they should be able to take it. Rab, what are we thinking?
Yeah, I think it will be a similar situation. I honestly think it could go game 5 though. Like even that Seattle team with Enable on, like they were really good at taking teams to 5 and just winning respawns. Just their search and destroy was absolutely atrocious. And Minnesota's has been pretty damn good. So I'm going to take Minnesota in a game 5. First game of the tournament, like honestly so many things can happen. How important these games are as well. It's not like it is in round robin where if you lose your first series you can bounce back pretty easily. So yeah, I'm gonna say game 5 Minnesota wins.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a clean sweep because I've seen Minnesota start slow sometimes, and Seattle can start slow, but it's all about like whoever starts off slow is like, I feel like if Seattle do start off slow, it will be a 3-0. Just for the pure fact of like, it's the first game of the tournament, it sets the pace for the rest of your tournament. So yeah, I kind of backtracking because I did say it wouldn't be a 3-0, but I think if Minnesota comes out like hot, it'll be a 3-0. If Seattle come out hotter, I think it'll be a 3-1 still to Minnesota, just because I think there's a lot more chemistry on Minnesota. I feel like Seattle just aren't in that great place right now. So.
So that's unanimous. Then we are going with Minnesota on that one. Let's go over to the Battle of LA. LA Guerrillas going up against OGLA. LA Guerrillas obviously making a couple of changes to their roster. Exact lineup now. I'll get it up. So it's going to be Spartan Vivid are coming in, if I'm correct.
Blast there as well.
Yeah, Blast in as well.
Minus Lacefield, minus Saint, minus Paddy P.
Yeah, and I think it was something, I can't remember who pointed it out this way. I think it actually might have been Bryce, for a matter of fact, but it was the point of where it was like all the campaign was behind X in the XV Slasher and all this build up when they fucking dropped X after all the marketing.
Unreal, isn't it?
Yeah, they benched X and there was another video that come up with X and Slasher. It was just like,
yeah, like what's going on over there?
Like, is there any rivalry there? And just because you just benched him, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I don't know. The LAG team, I just feel like they're going through. I feel like they're going through a lot more than a lot of other teams because they're obviously having some issues with like players being benched, and yeah, they just came out and picked up 2 AMs, which is a very like solid shout. It's in the needs of what they needed. I feel like AM players are probably the best bet. They got nothing to lose. They just come out from open bracket to a pro team in literally 4 months. Like that's pretty impressive.
And I think it's one of those things as well where they come out. It's like there's so much confidence when you get put on that roster. You just get players with a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? I mean they wanted a lot, especially being amateur players, not being considered at the beginning of the year, and then to be thrown into a roster, thrown into your first event, you're going up against OGLA. If that doesn't make you motivated to then turn up for your team.
I feel like the AMs get thrown in at the deep end as well. Like it's not like
they do, and they either sink or swim. That's the problem.
It's not like it's what is it, like a tournament where it's groups and then win a bracket and lose a bracket. This is like you have to win every game.
You can lose once.
Every game is so important for the CDL points. To progress in the tournament, like CDL points are huge this year. You know what I'm saying? Like
even a single series.
Like you shouldn't have pressure if you're becoming a pro because that's like a top quality to have, like composure and stuff like that. But like you are picking up AMs, throwing it in the pit basically, and if you lose 2 games, you're done, straight up done.
And that's the thing again, harping back to the subs conversation of you don't have much time to make a difference with these subs. So if it doesn't work out, what do? Do you consistently just keep going with it and see if it is going to work eventually? Or should you have just continued with your old team and figured it out and hopefully things would work in that sense as well?
I feel like
there's big decisions being made.
I feel like their team is like a good example of like, if they do get 0-2, they won't split up as such. They're going to they've picked up this to like try and make it work, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
that's what you got to do when you pick up amp players. You just got to let things work out. And if they do start playing bad for like 3 events in a row, then you look at it and be like, all right, we tried it wasn't good enough, and we'll go again. But I am, as much as it like pains me to say it, like picking up AMs when like there are other options on there is just like, it's a good thing for the scene, you know? Like,
yeah,
Modern Warfare has like, this is probably like the quickest turnaround for AMP players to join the pro team. Like, this game just benefits it. But
yeah, that was crazy. Actually.
It's good to see, you know, like
people being given a chance, I think, is the point, isn't it?
I respect the decision, though. Like, it's just quick comment. Like, I mean, this is a baller decision, you know. Like, dropping Lace, Saints, and Aches. Like, of the 3 guys you're gonna drop, getting in straight AMs and like Blast, I guess. Like, I rate switching it up that much because a lot of teams right now they're making one change. Like, to me, there's no way your New York 1-for-1 change. Like, that's not going to make you a championship contender. But who knows? Some of these Spark Vivid guys could be the next simp out here. Like, that could be your option in. Like, I respect the attempt. Not sure it's necessarily going to work out. Like, it's a risk, right? But
I'll tell you this, though. I don't think we'll ever see another simp ever.
Yeah, okay.
It would be very difficult to replicate.
I don't think we'll see whatever. That guy is a breed of something I've never seen before.
The thing is, there was hype before he even like turned 18. That was the thing. Yeah. This guy, like, I mean, it's not like the situation we have with like Hook and Temp, who, you know, they played before the age cap came in, where you had to then be 18.
Literally just played S&D.
Just like playing S&D.
Watching him play Black Ops 3, like, he was actually just the best thing I've ever seen play Black Ops 3, like S&D tournament.
Like I said, we'll never see anything like that again. Like, and like AMs are getting picked up as well because, like I said, the CDL, just like with your contracts and stuff like that, it's so hard to transfer players that have been pros before. So it's either like you pay a huge buyout or take the person's contract and carry on paying them, or take a chance on an AM player and hope it works out. And a lot of the teams would rather just pay the minimum and hope it works out, because the AM players can shoot straight. You know what I'm saying? They can shoot straight. It's just what about if they can do what they do on the map? If they can provide something more on the map than just shooting straight.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we can maybe segue into the chat that, you know, I mean, I was talking about it the other day on Twitter of, I don't think EU AMs are, I think they're being overlooked to a point, but I think, you know, somebody brought up the important point of the fact that, you know, visas are a thing. You have to sort out a visa. It's a quick turnover of events. Do you think they are being overlooked, Trey, or do you think it is literally just
people truly underestimate how hard it is to be a European and get become a pro nowadays?
I mean, we said it in the offseason that a lot of good players from Europe were.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be so hard for a European player that wasn't a pro before, to get picked up into an NA team. I think the closest thing we've seen to it is Kleenex.
Yeah.
When he got picked up from Champs.
He hasn't even had a shot yet.
And he hasn't played. You know what I'm saying? It's so hard. Yeah. You know, you do, being European, you do get cancelled out, you know, and you just have to, it's going to be so hard for a European pro to come up, a European AM to come up.
I think when you look at a lot of these teams who are doing well, you look at Singularity, obviously playing fantastically. War beat them at the weekend. We'll touch on that a little bit later as well. You look at these teams. I think their best hope to being in the CDL is when more franchise teams come in next year. I think, well, on the presumption that there is more teams next year.
I'm going to assume there's going to be more coming in. The CDL is it's.
I think I've heard there's more on the horizon, but yeah.
It's inevitably going to be more, you know. I heard there should have been more this year, but they wanted to cap it, and
I mean, it's been in the room.
There's always going to be a need for players. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be a need for players.
Which is where these, you know, CDC events are going to come in and, you know, perform well.
I also do think, orgs will just pick up American AMs just because of what the chat's saying is the visas are expensive. You know what I'm saying? They are.
But in the grand scheme of things, when it's 25 mil a spot, are they that expensive?
I know, but would you rather just pick up someone that's just as good as American though?
It's also
Well, it
easy to
depends.
play with them. You don't have to worry about like time zones if you wanted to sub them in for a scrim or something.
It's what I'm saying. It's just so much easier to pick up an American AM rather than a European AM, you know?
Yeah, and that's ultimately the problem of a global league being based in America, isn't it? I think, you know, that's just one of those things.
It's not the greatest thing in the world, but like maybe there'll be a shot where, let's say I'm captain of a team and I do bring someone in, you know? Not saying it's ever going to be the case, but like that's probably what it'll have to take.
Yeah, I mean the Aussie guys managed to make it work on that Paris team pretty much, but like as you say,
That Paris
right
team's just a perfect example of scraps being thrown together that weren't going to get picked up by anyone else, and them just pushing through it, working together, working hard, and just doing what they need to do. And
same thing will happen next season if they get more.
It's just a perfect opportunity for them to just prove their worth.
Yeah, I think, you know, you look at that Paris team, they had nothing to lose, really, did they? You know, it was asset thrown together, so to speak.
Everyone thought they were the worst team in the league. Now they're considered top 6.
Yeah, top 6.
You know what I'm saying? And what are they, 3rd in CDL points? That's pretty impressive for a team that's didn't even have a look in anyone's
rankings, right?
Yeah. But going back to the LAG and OGLA match.
We're taking a while there.
I segued
away.
Like I said earlier, I've heard that Optic LA are playing a lot better in scrims, and I just don't see Slasher losing to.
I think it's one of those that we've said it week in, week out. They're gonna click eventually. They have to at some point, surely. Start working together well. It's another case of, it's like Seattle, but I think to a further degree of, you look at the talent on this roster, it's insane based on previous CODs, at least anyway. Surely something has to start. What did you think their problem was, Trey? Like, looking at that team, I know it's hard to decipher what's going on in other teams, but
for someone that knows, I can't give a lie.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I can't just sit here and tell you a lie about an issue.
What you're saying is you can't say why.
Yeah, like I said, it's just they haven't clicked yet, you know, and it's I see that team the same as my team. It's just they're just not clicking, and I don't know. I feel like another bad event in LA, they might split, you know.
Yeah,
and I feel like a lot of teams are going to be the same, you know. I feel like this LA event is like makes or breaks a team.
Yeah,
and
who do we think wins then? I think who do we think wins out of these two?
I'll take Optic, I think.
Oh yeah, I'll take Optic all day long.
I mean, like first series
I'll take
fun,
Optic 3-0. I'll take Optic. Yeah, 3-0. Yeah.
You think Guerrillas are the worst team in the league?
I don't think there's a worse team in the league. I feel like we're playing a game where there is upsets, just could be anywhere. And I say Optic 3-0 confidently because I just know Austin's not going to lose to Vivid and Spark. Like, that's just something Austin's not going to lose to him. That's his pride.
He'll play it better because he does.
Yeah, that's just his pride. It's just going to be... LA Guerrillas are just... They should have went 2-0 at Thingy, I'm pretty sure, at Minnesota.
Yeah.
They probably should have. And the VP had the banned perk on, which, no, you can't let that happen. But they probably should have went 2-0. I don't think they're a dreadful team. It's just like... It's like what you said, like, is New York going to be smoking people are happy 4 days before the event? Like, they've literally just picked up Vivid and Spark. Literally just picked them up.
Yeah. Yeah, I just
don't see LA Guerrillas beating them.
3-1.
3-1.
I'll give Guerrillas a map.
I'll give them a 3-0. Straight up 3-0.
I'll go a bit more conservative and go 3-1 as well, but Trey's putting the pain down there for Guerrillas.
I just know.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, though.
I just know OGLA are just they're a pretty good S&D team. Like, I've seen them on our club. They're pretty good at that map, and if they do get that map, I feel like it's over.
So we're going with OGLA in that one. Let's move on to the second round then. We'll not go through everything. We'll go through the winners, and then we'll obviously go through into Group B. So prediction of Minnesota and OGLA going up against each other. I feel like this one's going to be pretty clean cut. We are feeling very, very happy about Minnesota. Do you think this is a close game nonetheless?
See, this is what I'm saying, bro.
Who
Like,
knows?
Modern Warfare plays this card where it's like, you're going to spawn there and win the game, or you're going to spawn here and lose the game.
I don't think it's just Modern Warfare, though. There's been inconsistencies across COD for years now, and it's just like...
I just feel like this is the most inconsistent COD we've had.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. There is skill towards it. You know, there is like...
Oh, yeah.
There is like... There is a way around it, but it's very, very, very nitpicky. It's very, like, very sensitive. And... like I said, OGLA, I don't feel like they're obviously not the best, but they're not bad. You know, they're playing better in scrims. I genuinely think that's going to go to a last map, and I don't know who's going to win it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take Minnesota again. I just have good faith in that team. And I don't know if OGLA have got all the pieces together yet. Like, we always talk about them starting to click or whatever, but you would have said the same thing about the 100 Thieves team last season at the start of the season with Ferro being like, yo, Kenny and Ferro, you've got Enable there, like 3 pieces from that TK team that came runner-up in champs. Then you've got Slasher and Octane in the team. Like, give this team 3 months, they'll be the best. They were like, no, we were shit at the PLQ, on the verge of going out of the tournament. Swap out Ferro for Priester, become the best team in the game. So, like, who knows whether they're one change away from a godlike squad. You've seen that with Slasher teams in the past. Sometimes they're just awful if the team doesn't click, but then when it does, Slasher's team's going to be the best in the game.
I always have a laugh and a joke with Austin, because I class Austin as like a pretty good friend of mine, and every time, I feel like it's just every year he has a bad start to the year. Every single year, no matter who he's with, no matter what org he's with, he's always had it. Like, picture it, IW. He had a horrible year with MV. Finished the year off. He won season 2 and then second at champs or whatever it was. And World War II, he started off with Donny, Huke, and the Classic. Everyone thought like, oh, that's gonna be a god squad. Boom,
I remember that.
Shits it. And then he joined Rise and he's multiple champion.
That's two events, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 100 Thieves, on the verge of not even being in a pro league. Next thing you know, first, second at champs, made one of the greatest loser bracket runs like nearly ever. You know what I'm saying? So I have no doubt in my mind. That's just my running joke of Austin. Like, he always has the worst start to every single year, and he just laughs about it now.
And when it clicks, people have to be worried about it. It has to be said. Does it click here though against Minnesota? What we said?
Austin is a winner. Like, he is a proven winner.
No doubt.
He will do anything in his power to win. And I have no doubt in my mind, after this LA event, be it good or bad, he's going to win.
Something will happen.
Yeah, he's going to be. The team's going to be great.
Do we think they beat Minnesota?
That's what I'm saying. I said 2-2, and I don't know who wins last map.
I'm going to take Minnesota in another game.
Wait, that's not a cop-out.
2-2, and you don't know who wins last map?
Yeah, that's not really a cop-out. That's just me not knowing who the fuck's going to win last map.
You can't sit on the fence. You're not Phil Whitfield, pal. Come on.
I'm not sitting on the fence. I just don't know who's going to win. I've been very opinionated with everyone's team. I just don't know who's going to win there. Like, if we're basing it off my rankings, then Minnesota wins, but I don't know. It all changes on tournament day. I'm telling you, everything changes on tournament day.
Rab, what do you think?
I'm taking Minnesota in another game 5. Game 5 Wizards, mate. It's got our X. It's got our X time at 5.
He is a very good player.
All right, I'm gonna go. We're gonna last map as well. I don't know whether it just tip the scales a little bit.
Do you want to say optic? He wants to say
I do want to say optic. I just think Minnesota are a really good team, and I just think I don't know when they're gonna click. But if they do click, then I think they win. I'm gonna go because Trey hasn't given a proper answer. I'm gonna go optic.
Fair play. You're still outnumbered.
Trey's got the deciding.
Actually, I don't know.
I want to say optic too.
Oh, there it is.
I do want to say optic, but like I said, my prediction says Minnesota. But I'm gonna go with optic because
fair play.
Like I have heard they have been playing better, and I genuinely do believe their team is really good. It's just waiting to click, and I don't know if it will click or not, but we'll find out this weekend. You know,
it's tough to call.
It's a very tough one to call. But
like this weekend's going to be all about like intense situations, composure, and who's got the balls to do something crazy and make their team work.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Game 5s all over the shop. I feel again. Like in Atlanta, the final day, there was 4 out of 5 series for Game 5s. Like,
there's only 2 teams that I can be certain on that like could win a match, and that's Chicago and FaZe.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's fair. So we're gonna go with Minnesota to make it there. I presume we think OGLA, if they did beat LA Guerrillas, they probably make it out as well. We'll not go into the loser side of things because then theory crafting beyond what we think we should be, I would say. Let's move on to Group B. So of course this is Atlanta FaZe, Florida Mutineers, Dallas Empire, and the New York Subliners. Now,
oh baby,
I think this is like in terms of groups, this is probably one of the hardest groups you'll have.
It is a difficult group.
For New York, it's one of the hardest groups you'll have.
Florida, look on the uptake.
It's
Dallas
so rough,
near the
actually,
top.
now you think about that.
Atlanta are supposed to be the best team in the minute, we think.
When I heard that group, I was like,
shit.
Hey, get me out of there.
Yeah, I don't want to play.
Yeah.
I'm not going to LA now, you know.
Line man's cards would not be looking good for you after this.
No, but even when we played Atlanta and Minnesota, we probably should have went last map. You know, like they are just a level above everyone right now. The Atlanta
just turned on the pain like on map 4.
That's a blur to me. There's like 3 months have been a blur. I don't know what's happening in my life right now.
12,
what's going on?
Yeah.
So Atlanta, Florida.
Yes.
I mean, look, everyone's going to lean towards Atlanta, but we can't really underestimate Florida after how they've played. You can.
Listen, Atlanta are the best team in the game. They're not losing.
I'm trying to have like a discussion about it.
Listen, everything's level with 11 other teams apart from like maybe Chicago until you put Atlanta FaZe in the mix. The things that they do to people, Tunn, you can't even.
I don't know. I've only seen them play like fucking
Trey's got
five
PTSD,
series.
like.
Listen, bro, I've scrimmed them. Ultimately, they're the reason I got dropped.
Is it just the pace? Is it the pace?
Teamwork, pace.
How do you deal
mechanics?
with that?
I mean, like I said, they're the reason I got dropped. They 8-0 us in scrims one day, and then that was me gone on the bench.
Oh shit! Wow.
I walked out of that office like.
I think a lot of people look at this team and they say that the Tiny Terrors. You look at Simp, you look at Abeezy, but Celium was fucking incredible. He was so
Listen,
good.
I played with Celium Black Ops 4, and like I said, my whole FaZe team is like doing well. You know, like. They're all on starting lineups. Cell's on a winning team. Cell was an amazing player. Sim's on a great team. I underappreciate my FaZe team like a lot. And Matty's doing well in London, you know. It's crazy, like and like I said, Atlanta FaZe are they've got 4 unreally talented players, you know, in Simp, Abeezy.
What about Major Maniac?
See, this is what I'm saying, yeah. I feel like you could put anyone on that roster and it would be unreal.
Yeah, no question. Like
Major Maniac is a good AR. Major
like...
Maniac is good. I'm not saying he's not good. He's just I feel like you could put anyone on that roster and it just fry. Even though I like Major Maniac, I know what he brings to the table. He's a very cool-headed guy. He's a good AR, but like you've seen the stats.
Yeah,
you've seen the interaction stats. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't even have to move. Simp, Abeezy, Cell, and Priest are just running in front of him. He'll pick up a kill, and that's it. Done. That's 5 dead easily. Sim's popped a 3-piece. Abeezy's turned on someone, and it's over.
God, it's filth, innit?
You know what I'm saying?
So we're thinking Atlanta for this match. I think that's the.
I mean, Florida, like in my opinion, they're one of the most inconsistent teams possible. But even at their very, very best, I don't know if they can beat Atlanta.
I don't know if you've heard anyone's streams at all or anyone like that, but if you ask anyone now, did their scrims go with FaZe? It's just like
really good. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's just due to like they're just a good team. And I feel like they are the best team in the game right now. And like things will change, you know, people will get better, teams will get better, they'll start like it's just right now they are the best team that's clicked and they're just playing unreal together.
Let me ask you a question before we talk about the actual matchup. Do you think they are as good as like think of like a Rise, World War II. Do you think they're as good as the Dynasty Up team? Do you think they have that ceiling? Do you think they can break through that, or do you think that, as you said, teams will catch up, and towards the latter end of the year, we will see teams start to match them?
I think teams will catch up because everyone's so good now. It's hard not to catch up.
It's a smaller size, isn't it? There's
you know what I'm saying? I feel like everyone's
spots,
so good now. Like all the players are so good. It's so easy to catch up with a team. It's just right now Atlanta FaZe is just ahead of people.
I think they have the potential, to be honest. Like, I just think this is a different type of lineup that we haven't seen teams put together in the past. Like, having such young guys like this, with the exception of Major Maniac, he's what, 36, did you say? Or whatever.
57, I read
like,
something. He's doing exceptionally well.
But I mean, Jesus, like, you don't see teams like this. Usually teams, you've got a guy like a Krim or a Clayster or someone who's like old experienced head and the young guns. This team, they've just gone all out. And it's like, if Atlanta FaZe keep playing at the pinnacle of their power, is there another team that can match them? Like, I'm not sure I see it, to be honest. Like, I think we're in for the one.
I feel like we're in a generation of COD right now where it's impossible not to see him lose.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's going to be some team that takes him out of a tournament, you know.
To be fair, once you get to bracket play, you only have to lose one series to go home. Like,
and they nearly did. They nearly did to Minnesota.
Yeah, right. They had to reverse sweep, I'm sure. So, yeah.
And for that team to reverse sweep Minnesota was impressive.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Because they're all like very like Simp and Abizi are like, I don't know, like half a millionaires in like 3 months. Like, but like to see like Zer0 and just Zer0 really, because all the rest have done like pretty incredible things. But to see Zer0 have that like level of composure is like pretty good, considering that like I teamed with him when it was his first breakout year, and he was still doing crazy stuff. You know, it's cool to see like a kid like Zer0 like exceed the way he has been doing. Like, it pains me to say it, but
and that first team would have been pretty nice. It would have been pretty nice on this game. I think a lot of people look at that United team as well and are like, yeah, fuck. You know, that would have been a solid roster on this game. The FaZe squad wouldn't have done too badly either. So we are going Atlanta on this one, of course. No surprises there. I think Florida have improved. They are a very, very decent team, but we've seen this matchup.
Just so up and down, man. Like, it's just, you've got Pristini, you've got Havoc, you've got like Skies. It tends to be pretty good.
Got inconsistencies.
It's so inconsistent.
I feel like one of their main issues is Skies and Morks in the same team.
I feel like it's a bit
I feel like it was the same in my team, where everyone thought it was going to be a 2 AR meta, one's fast, one's slow, and it's not.
No, the MP5
Morks has to run a sub right now.
It's pretty crazy.
It's pretty ugly.
Yeah. So we are going to go with what happened in the finals.
Atlanta,
So Atlanta get the win. Yeah, we think Dallas, New York. Now I think had you still been on the team, I would have probably put a bit more stock in this one, Trey. And I'm not just saying this because he's here, but just to the point of like, whoever got replaced, it's still not a lot of time to practice with your sub.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll let Rab touch on it first if you want to. Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Like I can't say anything like I'm not gonna sit here and slate anyone or slag anyone off. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm here for.
No.
Like I can only go with Dallas are a good team. They've been practicing for 3 months, and New York just made a change, you know, and I would have to go for Dallas, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'd have predicted Dallas to beat Trey's New York, so
like a lot of people predict. Yeah, like I would have loved to have played Dallas, to be honest with you, because me and Ilya are pretty good. Like, we're pretty good friends. We talk to each other a fair bit, and I would have just loved to. If we'd have beat him, I would have just loved to have trolled him a lot. Like, he's an 18-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're feeling Dallas on this one. The changes maybe a little bit too soon. Score predictions. I actually didn't ask a score prediction last game, but I'm presuming we're going to say 3-0, same as the finals in Atlanta. For Atlanta, Florida.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe 3-1. I feel like Florida are pretty good at domination.
Yeah.
That's the point. And Atlanta's probably been their weakest
pretty good at domination.
Okay.
I think I'll give 3-1. I think 3-0s are pretty hard to come by round one.
Yeah.
And then Dallas, New York. Tempted to say something similar. Also half tempted to say just straight 3-0, and we actually see Dallas like play at a good level. But as I said, I literally just said 3-0s are hard to come by round one, so I probably have to stick to my word there.
That's fair. That's fair. So Dallas, New York. I think I'm going to go 3-0. I think it's too soon. It's too soon with a change as quick as that. Dallas will be looking at this game and licking their lips. I think they'll be saying, right, great, first game. Of course, we feel as if we're going to play Atlanta next. Let's get through New York. They've got a new guy in there who hasn't had much time to practice with the team. The team was struggling anyway. This should be a 3-0.
Yeah, I mean,
I know. I don't expect you to comment. I know.
No, you would probably look at it like that. I do think.
You got more experience in the team.
Even when I was on New York, our hard point wasn't bad.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
our hard
you
point
pushed
was
some
pretty
teams.
good. I just don't know how well they're playing now. Like, I haven't even spoke to them. I haven't even looked at a scrim from them. I have no connection to what they're doing anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something I want to be a part of. So I haven't seen how well they're doing in scrims, but like I said, just for them picking up a new guy, you'd probably have to say that, yeah.
Right.
But I do think hardpoint is like New York's. Like when I was on New York, we were pretty good at hardpoint. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you thinking, Rab?
I'm going to give it 3-1 Dallas, I think.
3-1 Dallas. I think I'm going to go 3-0. I think it's a weight of expectation with players jumping in so early, and I know you're saying we're good at hard point, but I'll go with 3-0. So that would give us Atlanta against Dallas. We have seen this already. It was week number 1, and I do want to point out what you pointed out when we were talking about them against Florida. They do bleed though. It does seem as if they are susceptible to dropping maps at least. Trey, do you think when they play against Florida, do you think that was maybe just not Florida, when they played against Minnesota, do you think that was maybe just I want to say they underestimated them a little bit, came out a little bit cold, or do you think it is to the point they're not just a perfect team, they're not going to 3-0 everybody, or do you think that's maybe just more?
It's a bit of everything, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, when you do get the praise that Atlanta have got, it's like everyone said they're the best team now for like months. You know what I'm saying? So for them to come out and just like, they know they're probably the best team in the game, and they just need to take everything more seriously. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they didn't. It's just more of the fact, like, you've got to give it your all 100% every single time, no matter who you're playing, no matter how you are in the game. Like, you can't let anything slip. And they probably did let things slip, and Minnesota just played pretty good. So, but we've seen them reverse sweep them. And that's pretty hard to do, especially when you're that, like, young team, you know, I
feel like grew them as a team, right?
It was honestly like the third map, even if you won 1 or 2-0, like the third map is just such a swing map because
100%.
It's like domination is a grueling game mode to play, and when you lose it the way Minnesota did, like I looked at it in depth because it was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
they would have won the map, but 2 people gave up something they shouldn't have gave up, and then FaZe won because of it.
So rough.
It's small mistakes.
That probably happened, and they knew it happened, and they probably semi-lost full because of it.
Yeah.
And that, like I said, it does play a big part because you nearly 3-0 with the best team in the game.
Yeah.
And going 2-0 up is like pretty crazy to them, you know? At that point, you're like, oh my God. Like, even when we went 2-0 up versus Optic and Black Ops 4, it was like, oh my God, we're about to take out Optic. And then boom, you're sitting there, you're like...
And there it goes. Like, map 5, here we are.
Just
fuck, bro, in map 5, what the fuck happened there?
Yeah.
You're sitting there, you're like, I swear we were 2-0 up, what the fuck? And then like Black Ops 4 100 Ds when we got the best comeback ever in COD history happened when it was like 2 versus 11.
God.
We're sitting there, we got on last map, I'm like...
How's that happened?
Yeah, we got this, guys. We got this.
The champs, right?
Sitting there, like, what the fuck happened there, bro? Like, I'm just sitting there, like, what? Like, you just sat there and you just in disbelief at how well you're playing. So now you're map 5, just tournaments on the line.
Yeah.
Like, it happens. It is a blur. But
unreal.
Like Easy Mac said in the chat, there, it's just like they are a top 3 team. They're not bad. Minnesota are not bad. It's just, yeah, like I said, FaZe just there probably wasn't any underestimating there. It's just. FaZe probably got comfortable, and then they realized they were 2-0 down, and I've never seen a team turn up like that before. It's pretty impressive.
I didn't see it because it was like 4 a.m. at the time, but to wake up and watch it back was just... I mean, they're just so hard to beat, clearly. I mean, I just don't see anyone how you could predict Atlanta loses series unless it's potentially against Chicago, with a Chicago that looked great as well. And that was again another conversation I had during the week. Was it would have been? I don't think we missed out on anything when we didn't see Atlanta Chicago, because the way that Chicago were playing that weekend, I think Atlanta would have smoked them and it wouldn't have been the best series. So at the minute, it's hard to ever bet against them.
Yeah,
it's hard to ever bet against them. They're
That's
so
what I'm
well
saying.
rounded.
Like,
I don't think you can right now.
No,
it's hard for me to sit here and say like, yeah, like they've probably got a chance here, probably got a chance there. It's just Atlanta are just way too good right now to just say like, oh, it could go to a game 5. You know, like you said, the only teams that could probably do that is Minnesota and Chicago, because we've seen it from Minnesota, and a good Chicago looked like they could put up a good battle.
Yeah, 100%.
And even if it goes game 5, like, is there any team in a game that you're trusting more in an S&D than those lads? Like,
Like I
know.
said to you earlier, Simp is a freak of nature.
Yeah.
Like the things he done on Black Ops 4, he probably has a 20-minute montage on what he done.
So the sniper
Like when
shots.
I was an MVP champ, I got a top 5 clip. It lasted 4 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember that.
He done it. He done it 3 events straight. So he's
Yeah.
that
He came in
team's just
February and
impressive.
just rocked it.
But
so.
as I did say, like teams will catch up. It's not like we're in a time period of COD right now where it's so hard to have the Optic dynasty, the Cole dynasty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
You won't
like
get something like that again,
the competition
most
right
likely.
now is so high. It's so impressive.
Even on a smaller scale, like even if they say they win the next 4 events, like with the competition as it is, or like 4 events they play, I guess, like with the competition as it is right now, you've got to say like, oh damn, those few months, like that was the phase.
Yeah, I mean, if they
like,
win the next 4 in a row, back to
yeah.
back to back, like you sit there and you go, all right, like
yeah, that's got to be
these
considered,
might be
like,
unbeatable. Like what do
yeah,
we do?
yeah.
And like I said,
It's
it all comes down to how you prepare against them and how you show up on the day. If let's say if Simp's having a slow day of shooting, like that's your prime time to take over.
Sure.
It doesn't happen very regularly, but if it does happen, you take that chance by his neck and you take it running. You know.
100%. So we think they're going to beat Dallas as well. Who else do you think makes it out the group then? If Atlanta are definitely making it out, do you think Dallas making it out behind them?
I think so.
I think Dallas
mean,
have just got so much to prove that it's hard for like you deal
I
with
think this
Clay
is
and
their
Crum here,
event
you know
to
what I'm
proper
saying?
like prove.
Like
what's going
everyone,
on.
like I seen that take that Nameless had on Shotzi. Like the kid's he's just having a slow start. It happens.
Yeah.
You know, all it takes for him is to have a series where he drops a 40 bomb first map and then he's in his stride. You know, I don't think
Yeah.
he's bad at all.
No, he's so.
I think he's
talented,
getting a lot of criticism as well.
I think
Yeah,
the
it's must be tough for him.
criticism stems from, and I don't think it should just lie with him, but how good Dallas looked online.
Yeah.
And then the transition to the event, they still look good, but maybe not as good as they thought. But then obviously he dropped off from how he'd been performing online, supposedly. So I think that's where the criticism comes in. It's always going to come. This is the risk that Dallas did take, though, is that you bring in somebody who has never played Call of Duty competitively at the highest of levels. Yes, okay, we know what he's done on Halo. We know he's a good player. But they brought him in. This is the risk they took. This will take time. We unfortunately never got a chance to really speak to Clayster and Astro about it last week. We ended up speaking about everything but that, if anything. And I just think they've got to give him a chance. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've sat and watched and I thought, if he was consistently just playing all right, this team looks scary. They look so scary. Like when they were playing against London, in London specifically, he wasn't having a good series, but when he turned it on, they battered them. They absolutely battered them.
Like I said, I feel like it's more of a comfort player he is to me. Like if he's feeling like he's in his stride, he's shooting really straight, he's gonna be unreal. It's the same with. I look at Shotzi as the same as Frosty.
Yeah.
Like I think Frosty is so talented. Like I would love to team with that guy someday. I think he's like his mindset's there. He's a nice guy, and like I said, I love to team with him one day. But I feel like Shotzi just needs to land in his stride one time, and then that's him going to be consistently good,
Yeah, so we think Dallas are going to make it out on top. I mean, let's go for it. Who do we think wins it? I think it's an obvious answer. Let's be honest. I think Dallas are the biggest. Well, Dallas and Minnesota are the biggest competition to to Atlanta here. Do we think that Minnesota can potentially push them once again, or do you think this is a clean sweep for Atlanta once again?
I think we just have to see how well Atlanta plays in their first series.
Yeah, Chicago was slow in Atlanta. It could happen again to another team.
Like I can sit here and say all day that Atlanta are the best team in the game, and I will, but you've got to understand that, like I said, it's all about how you play on the day. Like that day, like these scrims, this practice is all just so it's in your head on where to go. If you're not shooting right on that day, you're gonna get smoked. And it's all about how you play on the day. If it's consistently kept up, like Simp has been in the past, then yeah, they're gonna do well, and all the rest are gonna do well. But like I said, like someone can just have a slow day. It happens, you know.
Yeah, especially how the format is, because like what happened with Chicago at the last event in Atlanta, they scraped through their first. Well, they didn't really scrape. The first series they did scrape through Game 5 round 11 1v1 versus Toronto, and then series 2.
that was a scrape. That was a scrape.
I mean, yeah, no, that was a scrape. And then the second time they beat Minnesota 3-1, and then they come out and play Florida and just lose. Like in that situation, it doesn't seem quite the same because yes, they scraped through their first couple of series, then they lost one out of the tournament, but they did literally just lose one series and go out. And you know, who knows? Atlanta could have a tough time the first couple of series, then they run into a hot Minnesota, and then you know, there's no chance for redemption if you come in slow. But
the
yeah,
series,
you can't see past them.
Yeah, it's a very this game's very trying to think of a word, like very picky on what happens in the game. Like you have to decide your own pace. Like the word that everyone uses now is like chaos. Like the game is chaos. It's all about how well you control it. And I think that's why Atlanta are so good, is because they control the chaos very well.
Okay.
Because they thrive in it. They thrive in chaos. They're like 18-year-old runabouts, like cracked off caffeine, you know, they thrive in that. I ain't trying to smoke again, so you run through.
I think one point as well is that I think this is maybe something we saw at Atlanta, is that teams, after Chicago won London, teams proper looked into what Chicago did. Because that first game they played against Toronto, they played on Piccadilly Search, got smoked. Like Toronto knew everything they were going to do that map. So obviously the best teams right now are looking at FaZe and thinking, all right, how do they play? How do we counter this? And I'm sure that's on the top of minds of every single analyst and coach in the league right now. Like, how can we set up our game to best counter these guys, whether it's playing a bit slower, whether it's like trying to take more ranged fights. I don't really know how you do it against a team that quick, but whatever the case is, I'm sure every team is looking at Atlanta thinking, how can we either adapt our game to be as good as them, or how can we counter them? So that's something to consider, because I think it was an impact at the Atlanta home series, and you saw it in Chicago's results. I think that was one of the reasons they had a slower week. So I don't think it'll happen to Atlanta here. I think they're too good, but something to keep an eye on, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we're picking Atlanta once again. I think it's not out of the question, of course, that they're going to continue to win events until somebody else can catch up. As said, they're too cracked. They're too cracked, and on this game with the current meta, I think it's very, very difficult to pick against them. Right, let's move away from Ella for a second and let's cover our final topic. There was just and we'll go over this quite quickly because I know. You know, I don't know how much you've watched of it, Trey.
Run out of Coke, bro.
Run out of Coke. Mate, you can go get another one. It's fine.
No. I'll finish this off. We
haven't got long. One final topic, then we'll move on to questions in the chat. So if you do have questions in the chat, please do get them coming in a second. Let's talk about CDC Paris. Now, of course, Team War went on to beat Singularity in the final. Of course, just an all-European event, but it must be a good win for Team War. We do have to speak on this. Singularity and War seem to be, I think, you know, on the London Academy have been there as well. They are the teams that seem to be causing the problems in Europe in terms of the amateur side of things. Now,
even America, SNG.
Yeah, well, even in America, yeah. You know, War were having a very good event when it came to the 250k one over in Minnesota. They finished, obviously, top 3. And I think, and this just was going to lead on to, once again, these players are performing well. And I think their platform this year is the CDC. We don't think they are going to be picked up by any of these pro teams because of the visa issue. This is their platform this year that they have to use. They're using it well so far, Rab.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I was pretty impressed by them winning that. Like, I kind of went back and forth on that CDC Paris thing because, like, it was literally a periscope of the big screen at the event, which is just
so, which I hated watching.
So frustrating to see, like, because that, like, a lot of people, I went in and off it, like, because It's just, do I really want to be watching a pixelated thing? But people at the event were saying that was like a banging series. Like, I think it was a 3-2 on the first series of the grand finals.
3-2 round 11 it went to.
Yeah, 3-2 round 11. Like, unbelievable, right? Especially given Singularity were like the reigning champs, for a team to knock them off their perch like that was cool. Thankfully, I think Toronto said that they're going to be streaming and casting their challenges. So whenever that is, I've seen a tweet here. So when's the Toronto one? Let me just find it real quick. But like, yeah, interesting to see. Like, it's impressive to see some teams competing with Singularity. It's good stuff. It's just unfortunate that, like, who is the most likely to get picked up by a North American team? Like, Chain, maybe, out of those group of players. Like, he's obviously a name that's been thrown around.
Like I say, I know a lot of pros. I'm friends with a lot of pros. I do hear names get thrown around in the mix. I'm not going to say anyone's name so I don't get them a bit happy or get them asking about. But I do hear like European names getting thrown in the mix. The more and more they do win, the more and more they do better.
It's a fact that they're going against the best of the rest all the time for the most point.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
you know,
like for SNG to come out on top in the Minnesota one was a big surprise to me.
Yeah,
because
I think a lot of people had like what have been going on online. War had won like the last 5 2Ks, which is, you know, just online, but at the same time, I think everyone saw their name more on the lips. Everyone knew SNG would do all right, to be fair, but I think, you know, how well they have done has caught a few people off guard. They're actually scrimming over in LA. They're boot camping over there right now.
I've seen.
They're taking it seriously.
That is real cool.
They're taking it seriously.
They've got that.
Oh yeah. SNG.
One of my good friends is on there, Maple. He's one of my real good friends. Team of him. He's like a more tatted me. He's just a big funny guy. You know? He's just a big funny guy with tattoos, and that's why I probably like him so much. He's just a funny guy with tats, you know.
So I mean, I'm going to be interested to see if anything does happen with them in terms of, you know, where they go. If any of the players do get picked up, as said, I think it's quite difficult to get the visas in that amount of time with how accelerated the schedule is. Yes, I'm sure they're being talked about, but
with the visas, it's all about who you know. It's all about who you know.
The US Embassy or Donald Trump.
My visa got done in a week. It's all about who you know.
Good lawyers. Good lawyers. Good lawyers. Right, we're going to go to questions in the chat. If you haven't got yours in, please do so.
Oh, speaking of visas, after London, I was stuck in London for 2.5 weeks because my visa was fucked. So I was screaming from London.
That doesn't.
I just never brought it out because like it was just
there's nothing you can do. Like, it's
like you know,
that against Atlanta.
Did we play Atlanta? Nah, I think I said don't get Atlanta.
Yeah, probably wise.
I tell you what, we probably did. I think we scrimmed them once actually.
And never again. Never again after
like
that.
I said, they got me dropped. I should be I should be suing them or something like that. I don't know.
Right, let's move on to questions from the chat. Jack Kernick 1996 asked, how well do you think Rambo will do with Dallas? Does he improve them? Of course, that was Rambo Ray coming in as head coach of Dallas. I think it's a good pickup. I sort of thought when he left Sledgehammer, I was like, I wonder.
Something's going on there, right?
Yeah, I like I said, I've known that for a while now. So
what do you think of the appointment?
Very good. Very good. Like I said, Rambo hasn't played in a minute, but he's just his COD knowledge is just unmatched when it comes to how to play the game. Like obviously the games have changed since he's played, but he'll adapt. He'll do very well.
Yeah. No, I agree. I like it. Obviously there's things to consider, right? Given that he hasn't played in this long, like how closely has he really been keeping up with the scene? Like it might take a bit of time. But yeah, he understands the game to a great degree. I'm sure that he's going to be the guy that is going to be watching Atlanta FaZe VODs until like 4 a.m.
And he's like, not one of these people that
this is how we tackle this.
Yeah, he's not one of these people that the pros can look at and be like, oh, but you don't know what you're talking about. He's somebody who's had plenty of experience. There's not many people with more. So I think realistically, he's a great appointment. It's one that makes sense for Dallas. You know, his affiliation with Envy in the past as well makes sense.
Plus, I feel like that's one thing Dallas was missing. They didn't have a coach.
Go in there, it was just calm them down.
Everyone's got a coach. Why not just get a coach? You know, it takes stress off you. You know.
Yeah.
Right,
I like it. Yeah, can't go wrong.
I think we all like it. Moving on to another one. Overlock Yo, strange name. Is asking, could another EU team join the league next season like SNG or War? So we're thinking that there is going to be more spots next year. and this goes on to what I was just saying in terms of this is your platform for them this year. This is the opportunity to go out there and, you know, if SNG keep winning events or War keep winning events, their name has got to be in the hat for next year. It has to be. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. If I was the GM of a team next year and they stuck together and say SNG, for example, won 9 out of the next 10 events or whatever, then they absolutely would be one of the first teams on my mind outside of, you know, people changing, etc. They have to be there for the base of it at least anyway. You have to look at that.
Probably getting picked up as a 5 is probably never going to happen. It never does happen.
It's very difficult.
It's so hard to get picked up as a 5 because the franchises want us. They want their American man, you know, and then he decides the team. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it works. You know, they'll pick up a brand or they'll pick up like a well-known American player that's been frying this one events and whatnot, and then they'll ask him what team he wants to build around it, and he's not going to say I want all 5 of SNG. He's probably going to handpick them out, you know. So that's the way it will go. Well,
I just hope that they, you know, keep continuing playing well across the board, all European teams who are in the AM scene, and that's where your opportunity is. Unfortunately, you know, you can't see how well specifically they have been playing. Because the stream hasn't been there, and I wanted to go back to the Paris event for a second. Of if they everyone's been saying they've been recording the matches, why don't they just fucking stream them? Why don't they just stream them instead of us just watching on a Periscope? There was no pro event going on.
I've heard a lot of things that I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, no, I mean me too. So
I've heard a lot of things I'm not gonna say because it's not my place to say. But I don't know. I feel like it should be streamed if they.
Even if you didn't have casters, even just
if they cared about the AM scene, the way the logo shows it and the way they described it,
the free.
You know what I'm saying? There should be a stream if it's like community pros and amateurs, like as the logo, then help the amateurs out. You know.
100%.
But although it must be doing something great because all the AMs are getting picked up on pro teams, so we're out the streams or with the streams, this motherfucker's still getting picked up. So
this rumor of Mac,
that's what I was just about to go on. Thoughts on the Subliners rumor signing Mac Melts? Rab, what are your thoughts on that one?
To be honest, I don't know like anything about this Mac guy, but he
played really well in Minnesota.
Hybrid black team.
Yeah, who came second in Minnesota.
Yeah. So I mean, fair play, right? Like, I mean, what is the move? If you want a substitute that's going to be competent, is going to work, and there isn't really any guys that aren't on pro teams that you think are going to handle it, like, you know, why not take a shot on it? I mean, there seems to be no downside if you've got the money to just get him on the roster, given you've got a 10-man potential bench. Just sign him before someone else does. You know, who knows?
Yeah, I think there's potential there. He was a player that was mentioned to me at Minnesota. I've said it many times on here. I'm good friends with Vortex, who's on War. And he said when they played them, I think they got knocked in the losers bracket by them like late on. I think it might be winners finals actually.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that, he fried them. He said he got like a fucking 8-piece at one point, and he was very, very good.
It's all Europeans in the chat, so you know, like the Jose Mourinho thing, you know. If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
Exactly.
Nah, but like I said earlier, I don't like rumor if New York have them or whatnot. I don't give 2 fucks. You know, the AMs are coming up. This game is what the pros have been saying, the rise of the AMs, and teams are picking up AM players. And if they are frying in the AM bracket, then so be it. Like the teams want to pick them up. Like I said, I think a lot of teams' problems are not kills. So if you wanted kills, every pro can shoot straight. Every pro can do what they need to do to get a kill. You know, it's just if it works out for the AM players. Like I have nothing against anyone that New York pick up. It's just I'm just trying to sort myself out. I don't care what they do. I don't care if they're winning scrims. I don't care if they win events. I'm just trying to win. I'm trying to win myself, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out of my situation, and I'm going to come back.
That leads me on to the next question in the chat. Actually, is saying it's from It's Hypo asking, is there another team you have your eye on that you would love to play for, Trey?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it is.
Yeah,
I have a few. I've been speaking to players, and things are going well. Like I'm just waiting to see what happens in LA. Same as Enable, he said it on a podcast too. Everyone's just waiting to see what happens at LA, and I'm not gonna say I'm rooting against people or whatnot. I want everyone to make the change they want to make. But I feel like I said earlier, I can make any team that's doing bad better, and that's what I'm gonna wait to LA. And yeah, there'll be a free DM sent out after LA. I'm not gonna say there won't be, but like I say, after LA, I'm hoping the people that have been benched find what they are looking for, and especially Enable and Saints and that. Like, I feel like they're all solid players that deserve to be on a team, and I feel like after LA, everyone's going to get on the team that they want to be on. So you have to wait till after LA to see what I'm doing. And yeah, like I said, I sent out a few DMs and things are looking good. So hopefully I'll be back.
Cool.
It's good to know.
Okay, so Overlock once again asked, who's the best player outside of the league apart from yourself, Trey?
Well, that's a bit. That's like a semi-roast.
He's in the league. He's a sub.
I don't know. I don't really know many AM players. Oh, actually, yeah, I do. Fuck. Pharaoh, 100%. Yeah, Pharaoh.
A lot of people say Pharaoh.
I felt like I'm so sorry for his situation. He is literally one of the best players. Like, he is a top player. I feel so sorry for him, but
yeah, I think my money would be on Pharaoh as well. Like watching what he did in World War II on that TK team.
I would love to play with Jay.
Absolutely,
if I could pick up Jay with no issue, like I would. I'd do it in a heartbeat. I love the kid.
Yeah.
Cool. So Zer0, this one's thrown in the back. This one's from XO Mello. How was it for you to grind COD when you had college? I feel like this is like, how do I do this as well? Question.
So I wasn't in a team. I wasn't in anything when I was in college. I was only in a team for like. I was never in a serious team. I never like hopped like. When I was playing, none of this was about. Like when I was at college and that, none of this was about. There was no CDO, there was no World League, there was just events. And even I didn't know what the events were at that time. So I was just going back and playing casually. I was playing like GBs, stuff like that. So nowadays, I couldn't tell you what happened. I don't know how you manage your time and whatnot. I can't imagine college was that stressful because when I was at college, it wasn't that stressful. I went for like 3 days a week. So there's a lot of time you can put into it. But like I said, none of this was about when I was at college or school or anything like this. So I just played pubs, grinded with my friends and stuff like that. So
stay in school, kids, is what we're saying.
Please stay in school because you might end up like me on the bench.
Well, I know, but I think a lot of people should look at it as that there is only a certain amount of Call of Duty pros. Is it a viable career for the majority of people? I would say no. I think it's a very small percentage that can get through. If you're great and you're going to events and you're doing well, then yeah, if you take that decision. But I would also err on the side of caution.
My girlfriend did say college is stressful. To be honest with you, it is for you. Yeah. I don't know what it all depends what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really do anything where it was too stressful. I was doing engineering, so you put your overalls on, you start welding, so you're done for the day. But for people that are doing something like computers or something like that, there's a lot of assignments for it, and yeah, that's probably stressful for you. So I do apologize if I said it wasn't very stressful.
Being insensitive, Trey.
Yeah. Like I was just talking about my situation because that's what you asked for. You asked what I done.
Right, well, I think we're going to wrap it up with the questions. Thank you very much for everyone for bringing those in. Bit of a different episode this week, of course, and going forward without Bryce here. First and foremost, I want to thank you very much for both coming on. Trey, I wish you luck in your endeavour to find a team and get yourself sorted out. Any final words from yourselves?
Hopefully I'll be back, and appreciate everyone saying that. Appreciate everyone on my side of the dropping, because like I said, there are times when people got dropped and said, "Oh yeah, he deserved that," blah blah. And I don't think there was anyone saying that I did really deserve to get dropped. So I appreciate it.
Okay, Rab, anything else from you?
Yeah, just echo what you said about Trey's situation right now, and I guess I'm just looking forward to another weekend of COD. It's strange to think that it's happening so quickly, right? Like the weekends are just like bouncing off all over the place. And to think that, okay, after this weekend, we've got like a couple more weeks off and then Dallas. And then after Dallas, it's back to back to back to back events every weekend for 4 weekends in a row.
Heads fried.
So don't know what we're going to do. But yeah.
Fries.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Please, once again, leave your comments on the YouTube. I do try to respond myself as well. Myself only at this point as well. To the comments in the YouTube, so please do leave them. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I said it's looking like Bryce isn't going to be with us anymore. So I just want to touch on that for anybody who did miss it. I'm obviously very disappointed about it. Would love to have him back. The door is open for him.
Bryce, you come back.
Yeah, right now.
Actually, I'm on this
facts,
show
mate.
once every 3 years, and the time I do, you're not here.
And he has to put up with just me. But of course, you know, I'll finish with the people attacking me on Twitter. Don't. Obviously, I would love to have Bryce here, and I don't think anyone would argue that. Otherwise, I don't think he would argue that otherwise as well. And the show will continue. Nonetheless, we will keep it coming. I mean, I'm not going to be part of something that's at nearly 60 episodes and throwing the towel myself. So we'll keep things going. You might see more of Rab. I'm going to need more Rab. You're going to be called upon more often. Trey,
Rab's
you can
Rab's happy not being paid.
Yeah, I love it, mate. I love it. Love that shit up.
Listen, I'm happy not being paid. I'll come on every week if you need me.
Yeah. Well, you've got nothing.
Not like I'm doing anything now, you know. I've got my days are fairly
fun,
clear
mate.
now. I've got my own schedule and that now. It's very blank.
I had to clap back. I'm sorry, but yes, thank you guys very much for watching episode number 59 of Spitfire. This will be, of course, on YouTube. Will of course be on Spotify and all our usual channels. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.